Hi there, I'm Joey.
I'm Jacob.
And we are watching Star Trek for the first time. Last time on Star Trek, it was Riker as a romance novel cover, and Wesley nearly killed everyone. I swear it's his fault. But yeah, that was that.
Don't believe us. Don't believe us. Go watch our video, not the episode. The video.
Just the video. The episode is not worth your time unless you really want to see, sexy Riker romance novel cover, whatever. Anyway. I was telling you before we recorded, I'm really excited to reveal today's episode title. It's so stupid, and I kind of love it. Today, we're watching an episode called 11001001.
I'm guessing it's binary for something.
I would assume so, and I'm guessing we have another Data episode in store for us. I'm guessing...
See, here's the thing. I like Data. I'm okay with more Data episodes. I hope the episode tells us what that's binary for.
Right, yeah. That would be nice.
I would appreciate at least being in on the joke by the time this episode ends.
Yeah. But I guess we'll find out. We're going to get into post-episode thoughts in a second. Be sure to join us then. We're about to watch 11001001. So, not a Data episode.
No.
But some relationships just don't work. So that's okay. Some
relationships just shouldn't work. More importantly,
what a fucking ending! I said to you the second that ended, I was like, I just want a super cut of Star Trek captains just being super cold to their crewmates for no reason. It's really weird. Okay, so this was an episode.
It doesn't really have a noticeable plot until like halfway through.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I felt like I was having my time wasted. I mean, like, I don't mind, like, I've obviously enjoyed watching this crew just kind of have, like, fun little character moments throughout the show so far. But I found this an odd way of doing that. Like, there's not an actual plot to the episode. I think my favorite example of this was, like, there's this random ass scene where, like, Riker's walking down the hall and Yar and Worf with a couple other crew members, like, walk up to him in, like, this like blue and black, like, gaming gear, and they're like, we're going to play a game, and, like, there's this whole joke about, like, Worf not getting, like, that you're playing a game is supposed to be fun, and like, like, why do you keep score? That whole scene, and it just goes nowhere. Like, you don't see them playing the game, you don't see the aftermath of it. There's nothing. It's just it happens. It's there, and there's no purpose to it. And I could really appreciate that character moment if it like accomplished anything at all.
And there's also, I mean, this is relevant, mind you, because this is why Data isn't on the bridge. But there's also Data and Geordi painting.
Yeah, like, which again is a fun moment, and I like seeing those characters be fun and have character moments like that. But they're not moments if they don't, like, actually accomplish something. Like, I don't mean like accomplish something from, like, a plot point of view, but even just, like, from a character arc perspective, like, it's not actually accomplishing anything.
Plus, this episode had so many like out of pocket lines. It was weird.
Yeah. And once again, I do think, unfortunately, well, I do appreciate the more ensemble nature of TNG compared to TOS. It is kind of starting to fall into that same thing that TOS did, where we're only really developing about, like, 3 characters and not doing much beyond that. But even Data took a bit of a backseat in this one, who's been getting a lot of focus lately, and he's just kind of there. Aside from, like, the painting scene, but otherwise, it's another Picard and Riker episode, which I don't mind, because again, I like those characters, and similar to my approach with TOS, where I liked seeing the characters, but it was weird that these 3 characters kept in the spotlight. It's sort of at the expense of other characters. Yeah,
it wasn't even in this episode, and we didn't, like, even say there was no, like, Counselor Troy in this episode.
Yeah, Troy was totally missing from the episode.
Just not here.
Yeah. We do a bit of a holodeck episode, not full holodeck, but we had a holodeck setup, which came from just this random ass moment. So, like, there are these like Binar twins working on the ship, and so Riker is just like, I'm gonna go have sex with a computer, and he fucking, like, it, like, goes into the holodeck.
Almost. Almost.
Yeah, he like goes into the holodeck and makes it like a jazz club in New Orleans, and he says like I want a more intimate setting, and then like he chooses his preferred woman to hit on in this holodeck session, and the woman he ends up with is a woman named Minuet, who it turns out is aware of the struggle of the Binars and why they have started to cause problems on the ship here. But still, we spend a lot of time here, like in the holodeck. Picard eventually joins in after Riker. After Riker plays trombone, but sorry, go on.
I will say no. This is relevant too, like because so the Binar's plan is to save one person to save their planet, like to do the data transfer.
Mm-hmm.
But they needed two. They needed two people to do the data transfer.
Yeah, they established that.
Even Minuet is like, man, Picard being here, whew, that's just coincidence.
Right? Yeah, that is kind of weird. How could they have known that Picard was going to join Riker in the holodeck? That's weird. In a really awkward confrontation that I found really funny.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, pretty much everything in that jazz club is just really awkward. Speaking of that, of those scenes though, worth noting, Picard actually does speak French. We've pointed out, I think, in the past that obvious French name, but Minuet picks up on that as well and begins speaking French, and we get some Patrick Stewart speaking French as well, which is quite fun. But yeah, we also we get to see the new self-destruct sequence, which now only requires Picard and Riker, and that's it. So thankfully we didn't trust anyone like Scotty with the nuke codes once again.
Yeah, I know. Although it does lead to a lot less of a tense scene than in the TOS episode they do it in.
Yeah, I remember loving that scene in that episode.
That was probably the best scene in that episode.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that in Last Battlefield with Frank Gorshin?
Yeah, that's the episode's title.
I know, that's a pretty great one overall. It's
a pretty good episode overall. Yeah.
But yeah, that is. I feel stupid saying this title out loud. That is 11001001, which is fine. But again, I felt like I just wasted a lot of my time. It's a 45-minute episode, and about I think 22 of those minutes are spent doing essentially nothing. I obviously get setting the groundwork for what you eventually want to do with your conflict of the episode. But even then, even the episode kind of admits that it has no real hook to the episode at the start, because we even noted the title sequence of the episode takes about 5.5 minutes to actually come into the episode, way longer than it usually does. So it's just really weird. It has no hook. It takes a really long time to grab you, and by the time it does, you're just kind of confused as to why we waited this long, and had various scenes that just accomplish nothing. I can't stop thinking about the damn scene with Worf and Yar. It's really weird.
I think it's really all just set up to be hey, we need the ship clear. I feel like we could have done that more efficiently.
Yeah.
But I guess you couldn't also, because the Binars aren't a physical threat, and very easily, if that was an issue earlier, that would have been handled much more smoothly, I suppose.
Yeah, I will say I did like the joke of we were afraid you would say no.
Right.
I thought that was very funny. But yeah, I think that about does it. Yeah, cool. It was there. But yeah, all right. I think that about does it. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to join us next time when we continue Star Trek: The Next Generation. Until then, this has been Joey Morgan.
Jacob.
Goodbye.